frog purse. Yeah, so frog purse. I have 2 frog purses, and I'm going to teach you how to make your own frog purse. This week, I was actually inspired by this little frog purse my mom got me when I was a child. Cute, has that purse clasp. I've never actually used one or made a bag with them before, but it's not the most difficult. It's pretty easy, and they're on sale at my fabric store, so I picked up a few and decided I was gonna make frog purses. Look how cute. And I attached chain to both of them. This one I put some lace through it just so it was more interesting. This one's just normal. And they are so fun. I didn't even need that much yarn. I'm gonna link everything in the description, and the pattern is for free on my website, so I'll link everything down below so it's all in one place. I also have it lined. I lined it with fabric that I screen printed and dyed, and it's bugs, get it? Because the frog eats bugs. Anyways, it's pretty spacious on the inside, and the clasp I used is like 16 inches wide. Maybe I'll make some smaller ones in the future, but I think this is a pretty good size. This is a pretty good purse size. I'm really happy with these 2 guys. In the future, I'm definitely gonna make more. Who knows when I'll ever get around to it. Anyways, cute, right? Cute guys. They're honestly my favorite and such a fun project. Anyways, enjoy the tutorial. Here is Froggy Bag. I made one of those red poison frogs because I needed it to match an outfit. Anyways, sorry, the chain's kind of annoying. You flip him over. This is his tummy, feet, legs, frog legs. Yummy. I've actually never had frog legs. Oh wait, maybe I have. Anyways, his cute little beady eyes. And then when you open it up, oh my gosh, another frog. Oh wait, he's upside down. No! Anyways, the interior is lined with fabric that I hand dyed and screen printed, and they're bugs. I thought, what's better? Because it's obviously bugs. And the chain like flips in, so you don't have to have it with the chain. It fits a pretty decent amount of stuff. Phone goes in there easy. There's a coaster, and then the other small frog. Put him in there. Like, he's got a pretty large amount, so he fits a lot of stuff. Anyways. My mom actually got me this purse when I was a kid. Cute. Does not fit anything. Doesn't even fit a credit card in him. But he's too darn... I'm so sorry. He's too darn cute. Same kind of clasp. He's from Gymboree. My mom used to always get me clothes there when I was little. But he's been with me. I brought him everywhere because he's just too darn cute. I don't even know what I carried in here as a child. Anyways, I wanted to create an adult version, and that's what I came up with. Gorgeous, gorgeous guy. I haven't figured out a name for him, but anyways. So for the color switching and stuff, I literally just switched at random intervals where I was like, okay, I did one row of this, I'll do a row of black and a row of this. For the top, I literally just did random spots and tried to just change it up. And for the bottom, I did a tummy. Same with the legs. You can see I just kind of did it like randomly here and there. And I think it turned out pretty good. There's no like method to my madness. It's just kind of like adding colors whenever works for me. I'll also teach you how to line it as well. There is some hand sewing involved, so if you, as you can see, if you're not comfortable with hand sewing, this one's actually pretty easy because you follow the holes. And if you don't know how to hand sew, I would recommend maybe ask a friend. I'm gonna make one in green and brown. I'm going for like classic frog here. And you will need to make a bunch of different pieces. I'll start with the body. I'll give you a quick rundown. You need to make a body. As you can see, this is very similar to that one. I just switched out random spots to give it spots. You'll also need to make 12 of these little toes. 12 of these little guys. They're so easy to make. Thank goodness. Then you'll need to make 2 little arms. That's so darn cute. Oh my gosh. And then 2 legs. The legs are the exact same as the arms. You just keep extending it larger once you're finished the arm. So very easy, similar things, repetitive, but honestly not the hardest thing to do. You could easily do one in one day if you're pretty confident with your ability. Also, this is an eyeball. Eyeball. Let me just show you. I have a bunch of these. These ones are 16 millimeters. These eyeballs, safety eyes. You don't have to use these. I just like using these ones. And then I sew on top of them to give him eyelids so he looks less, I don't know, threatening, I guess. And you can't do this without a purse clasp. This one is 16 centimeters wide. So if you want to make it the same dimensions as me, try to grab one that's 16 centimeters wide. But you can pick one up at the fabric store. This one was only $7. Some of them have purse strap tabs. I think most of them do. And I also have chain for the purse. Obviously, in an ideal world, I would like everything to match, but I don't have a very good selection at my fabric store, so I also have little pliers, little teeny tiny pliers, and I also have fabric that's going to line the inside of the bag. I have everything traced out in Sharpie so you can see what I'm working with, literally just small pieces of fabric. I'll teach you how to measure and draw everything out for that. And everything is based off of the measurements of your purse strap. Most of this and figuring this out, honestly just looking and comparing, that's the easiest way to go. But if you want to create everything to the exact dimensions I have, I'm linking the pattern for free in the description. I'll upload everything that I used. I also have some stitch markers to make my life easier and a little yarn needle as well. And then I have a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook because this yarn I'm working with is like a medium weight. It's just like the cheapest acrylic you can get at the craft store. The suggested needle is 5.5 millimeters, but I prefer my stitches to be tighter, especially if it's on a bag. So that's why I went with the 4.5 millimeter hook. So just whatever yarn you're using, go down by like 2 hook sizes and suggested, and you should be good. So I think we'll get started on the actual tutorial. The top and the bottom are actually the same. The only difference is the colors that you use for them. So this is the top I did ahead of time, and I literally just switched at random points, totally random points, to create this blotchy pattern. And yeah, turned out pretty good. Because it's totally at random, do whatever you'd like. As you can tell, like this one is a little more spotted, this one's more dotted, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, let's move this guy. Anyways, so you're gonna do a slip knot. I just also want to mention that I crochet kind of funny. I throw my hook when I crochet, and sometimes people get upset with me when they can't exactly see what I'm doing. So I just want to apologize ahead of time. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna do this in brown because I'm doing the belly. I want the belly to be like brown in the center and then green on the edges. But if you were to do this one, you could do whatever you want. You could also make it completely one color, totally up to you. So after you have your slip knot, you're gonna chain 10. Here's your 10 chains. You're going to start row 1, and at the beginning of every row, you're going to chain 1. So I'm going to chain 1. In the second chain from the hook, I'm going to place a half double crochet, and I'm going to do half double crochet 9 across the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That will leave me with the last one empty. So half double crochet 9. going to place 4 half double crochets into that last chain, and that's going to bring you all the way around. So place 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that kind of swings you around this end, and now we're going to crochet up the other side of this chain. We're going to place 9 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's going to leave you with something that looks like this. And then we're going to place 4 half double crochets into that very last chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Leaves you with this. And then we're going to slip stitch in the top of that first half double crochet, leaving you with this. For row 2, we're going to chain 1, and I like to half double crochet directly out of the stitch that we chained out of, just so everything stays tight together. So I'm going to start in that first stitch we chained out of with 1, and I'm going to continue by doing 9 in total along here. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you notice these stitches here are the ones that we half double crocheted into the very end. We're going to do a half double crochet increase in the next 4 stitches. So that's 2 half double crochets in 1 stitch. So half double crochet increases for the next 4 stitches. 1, 3, 4. There we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 half double crochet increases. So that added 4 more stitches. Anyways, I'm going to half double crochet 9 down here now. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, we're going to put, next is 4 half double crochet increases in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, going to do half double crochet increases. It's 2, 3, 4. There we go. And I'm going to insert my hook into the first half double crochet of that row, which is this one right here. And then I'm going to do a slip stitch like that to bring it all together. Perfect. And in that row, there's 34 stitches. For row 3, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to start crocheting in the stitch we chained out of. We're going to half double crochet 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oop, almost lost it, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to repeat this 4 times. We're going to half double crochet 1, then increase. Half double crochet 1, increase. Half double crochet 1, increase. Half double crochet 1, increase. Yeah. So half double crochet 1, half double crochet, increase in the next stitch. So that was 1, half double crochet 1, half double crochet, increase in the next stitch. That was 2, half double crochet 1, half double crochet, increase in the next stitch. That's 3, half double crochet 1, half double crochet, increase in the next stitch. And that's 4. As you can see, it's looking good. Then we're going to half double crochet in the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to repeat the same thing. We're going to half double crochet 1, half double crochet, increase in the next stitch, and do that 4 times. So half double crochet 1, increase. That's 1. Half double crochet 1, increase. That's 2. Half double crochet 1, increase. That's 3, half double crochet 1, increase in the next stitch. And that is 4. So, looking good. We're going to slip stitch into the top of that first half double crochet we did. Insert my hook, slip stitch, and we're all done row 3. That is 42 stitches now. For row 4, we're going to chain 1, then we're going to half double crochet in the next 9 stitches, starting with the first one in the stitch that you just chained out of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After we finished our 9, we're going to do half double crochet, increase, then 1, 2, and then we're going to repeat that 4 times. Increase, 1, 2, that's 1, increase, 1, 2, that's 2, increase, 1, 2, that's 3, increase, 1, 2, that's 4. Then we're going to half double crochet 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to repeat that section again. Increase, 1, 2, and repeat that 4 times. So, increase, 1, 2, that's 1, increase, 1, 2, that's 2, increase, 1, 2, that's 3, increase, 1, 2, that's 4. Then same as the other rows, we're going to slip stitch into that first half double crochet. Okay, so that was row 4, and that's 56 stitches. For row 5, we're going to chain 1, we're going to half double crochet 9, starting in that stitch you chained out of, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to half double crochet in the next 3 stitches and then do a half double crochet increase. I'm going to repeat that 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, increase, that's 1, 1, 2, 3, increase, that's 2, 1, 2, 3, increase, that's 3, then 1, 2, 3, increase, that's 4. Next we're going to half double crochet 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to do half double crochet 3, then increase, and repeat that 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, increase, 1, that was 1, then 1, 2, 3, increase, that's 2, 1, 2, 3, increase, that's 3, 1, 2, 3, increase, that's 4. And now we're going to slip stitch into that first half double crochet in the row. And that is row 5, that's 64 stitches. Now, you want to crochet until it kind of fits this. As you can see, that doesn't fit yet. I think I need 1 more row for it to fit the width, and then I'll show you guys. As of right now, that's not wide enough, so we need to keep going. For row 6, when I change colors, I like to undo to the very last stitch. I'm going to undo that total last stitch. I'm going to show you. As you can see, I'm ready to do my last stitch. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook as I normally would, yarn over, pull through. Instead of yarn over and pulling through all of those, I'm going to snip my yarn and switch it there. Oh my gosh, this is a mess. Well, whatever. Now that I have my new yarn color, I'm going to yarn over and pull through with that yarn color, and as you can see, perfect. Now I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first half double crochet. I know I've got that one little green spot, but you won't notice it once you start your rows. Now for row 6, we're going to chain 1, half double crochet 9, starting in that stitch we chained out of. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we're going to do a half double crochet increase and then half double crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to repeat that 4 times. So increase, then 1, 2, oops, I messed that one up, 2, 3, 4. That's 1. Increase, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2. Increase, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3. Increase, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And then we're going to half double crochet 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to increase 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat that 4 times. So increase, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1. Increase, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2. Increase, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3. Increase, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look how perfect that is. Now we're going to slip stitch in the top of that first half double crochet. And that is row 6. Leave you with 72 stitches, and I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to move on to the next step. As you can tell, this kind of stretches to be this width. Like, it's pretty much it. So I'm going to add 2 rows of just normal half double crochet around, and that'll pretty much make it the exact shape that I want it to be and have enough, you know, volume for stuff to be inside of it. So if yours is a different size, just keep crocheting, adding those like weird increase things, do the 9 and then do the increase increments until the width is just about this size. And then you can move on to do 2 rows of half double crochet. And obviously if your frame is smaller, then obviously stop at like, if your frame is this wide, then stop at you know, a row that's that wide, and then add your 2 rows of half double crochet. So I'm going to do my 2 rows of half double crochet. Again, I'm just chaining 1, and then I'm going to half double crochet 72, starting in the stitch that I chained out of. Then I'm going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet, repeat that all over again. Alright, so this is the belly finished, finishing that 8th row. I only like to do 2 rows. I find, like, I don't want my purse to be, you know, too chunky. Doesn't matter. You can do as many rows as you'd like. As you can tell, this is the width of it. I think that's appropriate enough, and I stuff it a little bit, but it still has room for stuff. Anyways, we'll leave this little guy here. I don't bother weaving in these ends because they're just going to be covered, so this is what that looks like. And then I repeated the exact same thing, but switching randomly for different colors. That's what the inside looks like. Hideous, right? But you're actually not going to see it, so it doesn't matter to me. So yeah, 2 of these guys. 1, you can either do whatever color. Belly is optional. You can do whatever you'd like. So I'll set these aside. We're going to get started on the fingers. You need to make 12 of these. I know they have like more fingers on the front, but I can't be bothered to do that many toes, to be honest. I don't know. We're going to do a slip knot. You're going to chain 2, or you can do a magic circle, up to you. I prefer to chain 2, and then slip stitch into that first chain. And then I'll be crocheting into that little circle I created. Little teeny tiny, literally impossible to see. Anyways, or you can do magic circle, totally up to you. For the first row, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to half double crochet 4 into that little circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know it's really fussy. You gotta flip it inside out, and I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first half double crochet. I know it's like really difficult to see because it's so tiny. And I'm going to slip stitch like that. And there we go. There's our first row. Then I'm going to chain 1 and half double crochet out of the stitch I just slip stitched out of. Half double crochet 4 is the second row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first half double crochet of that row. And now it's kind of forming. Let me just shove that end in there. There we go. As you can see, a toe-like shape is forming. And you only need 1 more row. So the third row, do the same thing. Chain 1, half double crochet out of the stitch you just chained out of. We're going to do 4 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then slip stitch into that first half double crochet of that row. I'm going to snip my yarn. I just tie off my end, and I just stick my end inside of the toe because you will not see it. Anyways, that is how you make 1 toe, and you need to make 12. The next step is doing the feet, and the arm is just like an incomplete version of the leg, so you just stop crocheting at this row. I have them kind of bent like this, and I think they're so fun. You need 3 toes. So first I'm going to show you how I crocheted the toes together. So as you can see, there's 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I insert my hook through the 2 on this side, and then for the next stitch I insert it through the 2 on this side. So because there's 4, they kind of line up 2 and 2, and that's how I crochet them together. So I'm going to insert my hook through the 2 on this side. I'm going to put my slip knot on this side of the hook, and then I'm just going to pull through. Oops, that was too much. Then I'm going to insert my hook into the next 2 that line up here, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. I'm going to pick up my next toe, and as you can see it lines up the 2 stitches here and the 2 stitches here, and I'm going to repeat that again. So insert my hook through 2 of the stitches, then do a slip stitch. I'm going to repeat that again with the next 2 that line up, and then do a slip stitch. Then I'm going to get my 3rd toe and do the same thing. This one's going to end sticking out. Anyways, insert my hook through the 2 on this side, do a slip stitch, and I'm going to insert my hook on the next 2 and do a slip stitch. So it doesn't look too great right now, but as you can see, the toes are literally like sealed together like this. I don't stuff them with anything because I feel like they're pretty, good enough. So you just did a bunch of slip stitches across the toes. Now I like to flip it around and work from this side first. I'm going to chain 1, and then we're going to start doing half double crochets. I'm going to start the first one out of the stitches that are on the back, or the slip stitches out on the back. Luckily you can see it pretty good because I'm using a different yarn color, but like if you're using black, it's nearly impossible. I had so much trouble with the back legs for this one because it was like all black. Anyways, I suggest switching colors for that reason. So I'm going to place the first half double crochet into the back of that slip stitch. So 1, the second one will go out of the next one, 2, and the next one, 3, and the next one, 4, and then the next one, 5. I'm just going to move this tail out of the way. And because we want 6 on the back side, so I'm just going to shove a 6th one here, right out of the side of that toe. And so we've got 6 half double crochets in the back. Now we're going to start half double crocheting on this side. So I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to stick our 7th one out of this side of the toe. I'm not going to do it out of these stitches, the green ones yet. I'm just going to stick one here. So our 7th one is going to go like right there. And then our 8th one, I'm going to start doing it out of the stitches in the front. So that's 8. And then out of the next slip stitch, 9. And then the next slip stitch, 10, then the next slip stitch, 11, and then the next slip stitch will make 12. And now we are back at the start, and we're going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet of the row. And as you can see, I think that makes like a pretty good like seamless foot. I think it looks pretty good. Anyways, for row 2, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to obviously start out of the stitch we slip stitched out of. We're going to half double crochet 2 together. If you don't know how to do that, I'll show you quickly. Yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through. Instead of yarn over and pulling through again, we're going to do it to the next stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and now you have 5 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all of them. That is a half double crochet 2 together. So we half double crochet 2 together, and then we're going to half double crochet 1 in the next stitch. Then we're going to half double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, insert your hook in the second stitch, yarn over, pull through. Then yarn over and pull through all 5. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on here. There we go. Then we're going to half double crochet in the next stitch. we're just repeating that 4 times. So that was 2, half double crochet, 2 together, then half double crochet 1 in the next stitch, that was 3, half double crochet 2 together, half double crochet 1 in the next stitch, that is 4. So now we have 8 stitches, and I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first half double crochet of the row. Looking pretty good, looking pretty hand-like. Now for row 3 and 4, we're just going to do half double crochet 8 stitches around. So chain 1, starting in the stitch you chained out of, going to put your first half double crochet, and you're just going to half double crochet 8 around and slip stitch in the top of the first stitch, and then continue it again. So that's all done. I like to lightly stuff it with like the tiniest amount of polyfill, just like barely anything. Like, that's good. Not really stuffing it too much, just barely at all. Now we're going to kind of seal it together. This is the bizarre part. I like to chain 1, and then I'm going to squish it in half, and then I'm going to single crochet 4 together. Because there's 8 across, I'm just going to single crochet 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've completely sealed the foot up, like so. Now, this is the bizarre part. This is how we kind of make the leg. So I'm going to recount this as like row 1 again, just so it's easier. So I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to half double crochet 8 around like this. Weird, right? We're going to put the first 4 along here, and then the next 4 along the front. So I'm going to do half double crochet 1, 2, 3, 4 right across those single crochets we did, and this is when I'm going to kind of push it up this way. And then I'm going to put the next one, I think like right here. And then that was 5, and then 6, I'm going to stick like right in the middle of the foot here. And then 7, I'm going to stick it like right here. Then as I'm moving around, you can kind of see this is forming. Weird, right? Then 8, I'm going to stick, I think like right down here. And then I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first half double crochet we made in that row. And then I'm going to show you what I created. So as you can see, the foot's kind of mangled a bit, but I just kind of made this circular thing on top of the foot. And I find this a lot easier than sewing several pieces together. But if yours looks funky, like don't worry about it too much, because it's going to be sewn on the bottom of a bag, and frog legs kind of look weird anyways. For row 2, we're just going to half double crochet 8, like we normally would. And that is what the arm looks like. So, and then I'm just going to slip stitch in the top of that first half double crochet for that row. And there is one of our frog legs. This is what I used for the front ones. Now, if you're making the front arm, you'd cut a really long end and just tie it off. The long end is for sewing, but if you prefer something else, no worries. That is what the front leg looks like. For the back leg, you're going to keep going. Back leg just kind of extends past this. So, you need to make 2 of these that end here, but for the back leg, we're going to keep going. So, For row 3, we're going to chain 1, then we're going to do a half double crochet increase, and then half double crochet 1, and we're going to repeat that 4 times, starting in the stitch we chained out of. So we're going to increase, and then half double crochet 1. That's 1. Increase, half double crochet 1. That's 2. Increase, half double crochet 1. That's 3. Increase, half double crochet 1. That's 4. And slip stitch into the top of that first half double crochet, and then we're just widening the leg. For row 4 and 5, we're just going to chain 1, half double crochet 12, and slip stitch into your first stitch. So I'm just going to do that normal half double crochet rows for the next 2 rows. So I just finished the 4th and final row. I'm going to snip leaving the long end and just tie that off. Perfect. And you make 2 of those, so you have 2 legs, and then 2 arms. I'm going to set these aside, and I'm going to show you how to make the eyeballs. These ones are single crochet. These are the only single crochets used in the whole thing. The reason I use single crochet in the eyes is just because they're smaller, and so I'm able to fit the little eye there. And I'll show you how I do the eyelids as well. So I'm going to chain 2 and slip stitch into that first chain, or you can do a magic circle, totally up to you. Then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to single crochet 6 into my little circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet in the row, which is right there. And then I'm just gonna kind of move it like this, so it kind of takes its shape. For row 2, I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to single crochet, increase in that first stitch, and then place a single crochet. And I'm going to repeat that 3 times. So that was 1. So single crochet increase, single crochet 1. That's 2, single crochet increase, single crochet 1. That's 3. You're going to have 9 stitches in total, and you're going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet you made in the row. Now, as I kind of flip it inside out, it's kind of taking shape. For row 3 and 4, you're just going to chain 1 and single crochet 9 around the whole circle, and then slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet that you made. So I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first single crochet, then I'm going to leave a bit of a tail to sew it on. And there are my eyeballs. I'm going to show you how I do the actual eyeball part. So I like to stick the eyeball after the second row, like right there. I just want to leave myself enough room to sew it on, and then I flip it inside out and I add this little backing to it. There we go. And I repeat the same for this one, adding it under the second row. And then you could just like leave it with no eyelids. I kind of like the eyelids. I don't know. Oh, that's pretty cute actually. And because the eyes are on the side of the head and it's tilted like this way, I want to like do it across like this way. If that makes sense, I'll show you. So I'm going to insert my hook on this side. I'm going to keep the end with my thumb so I'm able to tie it. Then I'm just going to sew across like this. See? And I'm just going to keep repeating it in the same spot until it just like fills up with yarn. Then I'm going to stick my needle in, and look at that. So cute. I'm gonna flip it inside out, and then I'm going to tie my end to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Cute, right? Then I'm gonna repeat the exact same thing, except I'm going to do it for the other side. I'm gonna start over there. Sew it across like this. And there we go. A little sad frog eyes. Aww, sad froggy. Alright, time to put these away. Now, for sewing the bottom of the bag on, I'm not saying it's a guessing game, but it's pretty close. I'm just kidding. I like to put the flappy things on the bottom side, just because that's my personal preference. And I don't measure anything out, I just kind of line it up and sew it on, and then I compare it. So I like to start off by getting some stitch markers and just marking a few places. So I like to fold the belly in half, like directly in half. And then I'm going to put a stitch marker right in that half stitch, right there. I think that's like right in half. So I'm just gonna measure this across. It's about 4 inches there. Where the middle is, just roughly. So I like to start in the center, and then I kind of go back and forth. I'm starting right where the stitch marker is, with my semi-matching thread. Close enough. And as you can see, there's like the holes here. You're gonna sew up and down through the holes, right? While kind of simultaneously shoving. I use the end of a scissors to do this, because they're not very pointy, while shoving the crochet between this. And it's a little more difficult with crochet, just because crochet is so thick. So I'm gonna shove this through and show you. I'm gonna put it through the hole in the front. The first ones are always like the hardest because there's nothing to go off of. And then I just continue shoving it sometimes with my fingers or a stick, and then flipping it around to the front, putting my needle through. Then I'm gonna go to the next one. Sometimes it's hard to find it. There we go. Next one. Oops, kind of jamming all of this in. Now, as you can see, like, I have one stitch there and then one stitch there, so obviously that one's kind of like skipped, I guess. It's on the other side. But I like to start in the center, and I like to go all the way this way, and then go all the way back to do the first side, and then I go all the way this way, and then all the way back. I find that's just a little bit easier for me. Does it take forever? It's not too bad, but yeah, it pretty much does take forever. And I guess that's just how it is. It's okay. I need to show you, I'm almost at this point. This thing, I don't know who designed this. Actually, like, hate that person who did this, but you physically cannot, it's right in front of the holes, you physically cannot fit the needle through with this thing in place, so I have to bend them out of the way. I'm always worried I'm gonna like break them or something. So I'm glad I have pliers with me. Also gonna bend this thing out of the way too, might as well. So I'm just going to continue that until I get to this end. once I get to the end, or one side, I like to knot it a couple times, just in case. I don't know, it makes me feel better. Then I'm just going to continue, there we go. So, as you can see, I'm gonna do it, I don't know if you can even see this. I missed every other one, and now I'm gonna do it in the every other one on the way back. I don't know how to describe it any better. I'm sorry. But going back a second time helps out quite a bit. It's also way easier. So now I'm pretty much back in the center, as you can see. I've got all these guys. I've already got them, I got some good things going for me. Anyways, I like to do one side first, just to get a general idea of how everything goes. Just doing the same thing as I have always done. Sewing it, and then flipping it over, and using my scissors to jam this under the edge. Alright, so the bottom is stitched on. It looks kind of lopsided, but whatever, it's the bottom. It's fine. For the top, I am going to line them up like this. I'm just gonna try to get the middle in the most middle part as I can, and then I'm gonna add a stitch marker to through 2 random stitches that line up in the back. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna count 10 and then add another stitch marker just to keep it in place. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Conveniently, on the 11th stitch is the last visible stitch before this thing's in the way. So I'm going to add one there. Then I'm going to repeat it again for this side. Then count 10, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the 10th stitch is the 10th visible stitch. Works for me. That looks pretty symmetrical to me. So the reason I do this is so we have all the same visible stitches and I'm sewing down the same amount. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to repeat the same, and I have the stitch marker here so I know to not stitch down this stitch. I can just insert it like so, and then stop again at that stitch. Easy peasy, right? This time I like to start in the corner and then go all the way this way and then turn back around and go all the way back this way. So we end up having something that looks the exact same. Now, totally up to you how you would like to do it. I'm just letting you know how I do it and how I'm able to keep the same stitches on the outside. It's because I'm marking them with stitch markers. I do the first one and then I mark it with stitch markers so I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to stitch this down. There's no point in watching me because I'm just going to do the exact same thing. Alright, so I finished stitching down the crochet for the top part. It looks pretty good so far, and as you can see, it's looking a little weird, but it's all stitched in. I'll show you how to line it. It's totally up to you if you actually do want to line it. So, to connect the two pieces, we're going to single crochet them together. I'm going to start in the stitch where I stitch marked here. I'm going to insert my hook through the two here. I'm going to do a slip stitch and then I'm going to chain one, and then I'm just going to shove the stitch inside the bag when I'm done. And then in that stitch, I'm going to put my first single crochet, and I'm just going to keep lining the stitches up and single crocheting around the entire bag. So as you can see, I love the way it looks. I really like the side seam. I think it's so fun. It makes them look extra comfy. I'm just on the last stitch. I'm gonna move my stitch marker out of the way. It's kind of difficult because it's a little squished, but that's okay. Then I'm going to tie it off. That's what it looks like. And I just pull all of my ends to the center of the bag. And there we go. It's time to add the lining. I like to add the lining before I do the feet, just so I have more of a general idea of how it looks. So, sorry, this is my ironing board, and I just wanted to show you the pieces of fabric I cut out for this. So I have the outline of my bag, and I just laid it on a piece of paper and pretty much traced out the general shape. I obviously went smaller in this area just because, you know, a little bit smaller, not accounting for the border I made. So I traced out pretty much exactly the metal piece, and then I marked here and here, which is where the metal piece ends. And then for the rest of the body, I just did like a general shape. And then I cut two pieces out of fabric, where you can see I traced around the body, and then I marked where this piece ends. And I think this is the right side. I'm going to sandwich these together. I'm going to pin it, and then I'm going to sew from this mark all the way around here until this mark. So as you can see, I stitched from here to here. I used black thread so you could see, but now I'm thinking it's a little obvious anyways. Yeah, the black's pretty obvious, but you're not going to see it anyways. So I'm just going to take my iron, and it's kind of warming up right now. And in this top area, I'm just going to fold it like right on that line, and I'm going to iron it because we're going to shove this into that metal frame, and we're going to sew this down. So just like this, and I'm going to flip it around and do the exact same for the other side. That's it for the lining. I'm going to open his little mouth. I'm going to insert the lining like so. And I'm not going to stuff it until I'm done stitching it down. And as you can see, there's like, oh my gosh, Sharpie, but that's going to be shoved up inside of that. Same with down here. And now I'm just going to start shoving this piece underneath, and this is much harder once the crochet is already there, just because there's so much fabric underneath there, and it's kind of more difficult to sew it in as well, but it's okay. It's definitely worth it. Yeah. See, just like getting scissors and jamming it under there makes it stay well enough where I can just go in and sew it. There we go. And it looks kind of wrinkly now, but it kind of resolves itself once you keep going. I'm going to start at this end and then sew all the way to this end and then go back again, going through the same holes as I did last time, obviously. And as I'm sewing back in, I like to jam it in there with my needle, and I'll kind of grab it, there we go, like so with my needle, like this. And as I'm going, I'm just jamming more of it under there. Looking pretty good. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. And then once I hit that point, I'm gonna come all the way back around. Okay, so I stitched the bottom one in, and I don't know if it's a little difficult, and I'm using green thread because I want it to match on the outside. So it's a little obvious, but at least it's lined now. And now I'm gonna stuff it. I like to pull this one all the way out, and then I just kind of lightly stuff the bottom area. I don't want it to be too stuffy because I want there to still be room to put things on the inside. Okay, seems good. I'm gonna put this back in. So all that stuffing's on the bottom of the lining, and then now I'm gonna stuff on top of the lining. There, that seems good. Now, for the top, I like to flip it upside down while I work on it. We're just gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna stuff the lining into, jeez Louise, okay, well that's gonna be irritating. Stuff the lining under the lip again, and then, oh, this is gonna be a rough go. I'm just gonna do the exact same thing as I did on the top side. I'm gonna start in the corner, sew all the way over here, and then go all the way back, slowly stuffing this under. The top one is always a bit more difficult just because you have like a little less room to work with, but overall it's okay. So this is what the mouth looks like. Obviously a little ugly in some areas, but it's a fully functional lining. He's nice and stuffed, pretty spacious, so I'm pretty happy with it. The next thing would be to attach all of the extremities. Now there's eyes, legs, and feet. I like to add the feet here, legs here. So let's do the arms and legs first. Let's flip them upside down. I'm mushing around. It's a little lopsided, but that's okay. He's got character. And I just like to lightly stuff them. Maybe even like half that would be good. That's way too much. There we go. The tiniest bit. Perfect. Tiniest bit here. Perfect. Now, I like to stick the arms right next to, I guess, like this area. And you can stick the arms or legs wherever you'd like. I'm just sewing it on like so. I am so excited to be finishing this guy and have an adult version of my frog purse. It's exciting for me. Now I've got 2 frog purses. I have to choose who I'm going to give the second one to. Oops. Perfect. First leg looking good. cute. I just like to find a random piece and like knot it a bunch. And then I like to sew back into the body and pull that knot like through the body and then snip it. And I've never had an issue with things undoing or anything of that sort, so I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna do it to the other arm. I'll try to aim for the same spot. I really like how this green and brown one turned out. It's very classic frog you'd find in a ditch. No offense to him. I remember we'd always catch frogs in ditches when I was a kid. And we would keep them, we would hold them, and then we would let them go by the end of the day. Kind of traumatizing for them now that I think about it. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But it's not like we caught animals and killed them. We just kind of caught frogs and snakes in the backyard and held on to them. That's looking pretty good. I'm gonna tie this arm off. Then I'm gonna sew the legs on. I like to put the legs closer together, just as like a preference thing, just because I think it looks funnier. Oops, I like to put the legs like here. I'm gonna stuff them with just a tiny bit of polyfill. Like so. Very good. So I'm gonna stick this one, oop, already lost him, back here like this, and then probably this one like right here. I haven't really been making tutorials lately, just because I've been spending a lot more time working on pieces I want to go into galleries. But I figured once in a while it's nice to take a break and work on something fun. Then working on this was fun. I'm going to add a bit more stuffing. Then I worked on other projects that I'm probably going to post later too. Then next thing you know, my life is being consumed by projects I probably shouldn't be doing, but that's okay. Doing this whole frog, I mean, I spent all day, yesterday I did this frog, and then today I did the tutorial for this frog, so like, that's not a lot of time dedicated to one thing, so after this I gotta lock in and stop doing silly projects, like making frog purses. So I'm going to stitch this leg on and try to make it as even as I possibly can. Difficult to do. I'm going to add a tiny bit more stuffing. This one I kind of sewed on lopsided, but I don't know, I feel like that adds a lot of character, and I really like it that way. Oh, look at this gorgeous guy. No face yet, just frog leg. Next thing I'm going to stick on are the eyes. And I like to do the eyes kind of on the side of the head, because that's what it looks like. Frogs do not have eyes on top of their heads. It's more on the side of their heads, and that is okay. So, I'm actually going to start with this one, and it's going to go on this side, so each eye goes on like this side, each side of the head. I'm going to kind of line it up. That looks good. couple more. There we go. Stitch this guy down. He is such a cutie pie. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness, how cute. How cute, how cute. Next eyeball. And then we have to sew in the nostrils. I probably should have done that before I finished everything else, but that's okay. That eye looks like it goes here. Oh my goodness. Oh, welcome to the world, my sweet frog friend. Last thing is adding those little frog nostrils. And to do that, I just like to start like way off here so I'm able to hide the knot. And I think I want them like here. There we go. There. Oh, there we go. His little froggy nostrils. Then I'm just gonna tie this together and then hide the knot on the inside. There we go. I'm losing some stuffing. There we go. And that is pretty much the frog purse complete. The last thing is to add the chain. That one is exactly 16 inches. Well, this is the completed frog purse. This is like scrap fabric I've been carrying around with me for gosh knows how long. Anyways, another cutie pie frog. Super fun. The lighting in my studio isn't that great, but look at this cutie pie. Now I've got two cutie pie frogs. Look at him.